Good evening. Hey, what's up? This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea and conciergebullion.com as well. I got the live Miami Coral Cam up here, and what a beautiful evening it is. The pretty rainy here in South Florida. Not quite sure what it's like in your particular hometown, but a little bit rainy down here. Oh man, there's some Bermuda chubs you don't see on this camera very often, and some very colorful fish there. There's a grunt, one of the South Florida fishes that grunts and grits for breakfast. It is part of the snapper family, but I'm not here to talk about fish. What I am here to talk about is, holy cow, wow, 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 with the price of gold. Surprised the living hell out of me. I just didn't see, well, you know what? I totally ignored Ted Butler's report earlier last week. Ted Butler had come out and said, and I didn't really share this with you folks. I read it, and unfortunately, I kind of disregarded it. I didn't think much of it, but Ted Butler said that there had been an ungodly amount of shorts on the COMEX, CRIMEX markets in gold, and there was really a decrease in the commercial shorts in silver, quite the opposite, where it's kind of got, I believe it was, who was it, Goldman Sachs, Citibank, and Bank of America piled into the gold short position, knocking the price of gold down in the CRIMEX markets. Meanwhile, they've left silver alone. They left the silver market alone. It seems that there's a decrease in the commercial shorts, according to Ted Butler, an increase in the managed money longs in the short, but the big commercials that have typically shorted these markets and shorted the COMEX markets on silver quite substantially are not there right now. And there's also a large percentage of, let me move in the spot prices here. There's not a large percentage, but there's a lack of physical silver out there, and there's also, it seems, a huge short position in SLV, which has probably caused the price of silver to stay depressed where it's at right now. And Ted Butler also believes that SLV is having a hard time replacing silver that's been flying out of there. But we're going to get into that a little bit. I'll read a little bit of Ted Butler's report here on his thoughts on that. And I think he's, again, spot on. I ignored, like I said, his assessment that they had piled into gold quite heavily, and had the big commercial shorts had driven the price of gold down in the CRIMEX markets. And you can see that right now at 1665. Let me do a quick refresh here. I guess the market's open in a few minutes. Well, we're open, 1665. I don't think we're going to see much activity here. Silver down a little bit. We may see sub $19 silver still, because here's the thing, folks. I've said it like lots and lots of times. Where gold goes, silver will follow on that. Well, right now I think it's about an 86-to-1 ratio. Let's take a look here and see what the ratio is. 1,665.46 divided by 19.15 equals.
It's approximately 86.9691.
All right, we've seen to steady out at this 86-to-1 ratio and really for the last couple days. Gold is, yesterday it was about 86-to-1, the day before it was about 86-to-1. And I've said it, where gold goes, silver will ultimately follow. Gold is the big brother. It's the leader of the whole pack. Their big brother, big sister, whatever you want to call it, big other. And silver will follow that, and as will, well, I'm not sure what platinum does, man. Platinum is really held its own at $900 despite everything else getting the shit kicked out of it. But gold, man, wow, sub 1,700. It's a freaking bargain out there, folks, for the price of gold. I really believe that. I mean, could it go lower? You know, the thing is, I can just not, and I've said it so many times, and you just never underestimate the crookedness of the CRIMEX markets, and that's there's no good reason why gold should be down, none whatsoever. It has everything to do with derivatives and COMEX markets, where these markets are shorted. But again, I believe that the reason we're not seeing silver down much lower than this right now is because, trust me, it could still happen. And all that means is a great buying opportunity for you folks out there buying physical. But it could still happen. We could see some lower silver prices. It looks like we are in the overnight market here at 1915. But still, what's the worst that's going to happen? Are we going to go and see the middle 18s like we did a week or two ago and test that water again, 1840s, 1830, 1850, because we did have that nice run up to 1915. But I believe that this is kind of like, there is a shortage of silver out there, and that's the reason that we're not seeing silver getting as hammered as gold, in my opinion. And again, like I said, 86 to 1 gold to silver ratio right now. So let me just do a quick refresh here. I'm just kind of, since the market just kind of really open, kind of looking in the direction here. Yeah, sideways. We'll see what happens later on tonight. But folks, this is gold at 1665 is like having gas at $2 a gallon, and having filet mignon at $3 a pound, and you know where I'm going with that. I've been saying it for the last week. So this is a gift, man. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. If you haven't bought in, this is a great price. And could it go lower? Yeah, it could very well possibly go lower. But at some point, we're going to make a big reversal here. And who might be on your side? I think I mentioned it in the title here. JPM, are they on our side on this? It's very possible that the world's biggest manipulators in gold and silver and the precious metals markets and other markets, JPM, is setting themselves up kind of like you stackers are out there, you gold and silver people. And I'll read that in a moment too as well. I'm going to share a few things with Ted Butler's most recent report. I know his reports are proprietary. I don't read the whole things. And again, a lot of sites do report on Ted Butler's weekly paid subscription reports. And a lot of people do share parts of that report as well. And I don't think Mr. Butler minds at all me sharing this stuff. So I hope it's okay with you, Ted. Anyways, I call him first name, not like I know him personally. But anyway, I hope it's okay with you, because I think that your reports, myself included, have helped me understand these markets way better and not panic and not get worried in these short-term downs that we're seeing, especially when we know how the game is rigged and who's rigging it and how they're doing it, which really is courtesy of guys like Ted Butler. And again, Mr. Butler pointed out how there had been some huge shorts running into Bank of America, Citi, and probably Goldman Sachs and some others, shorting gold dramatic, in a big way last week, as opposed to not shorting silver as much. Which is kind of a reversal. We haven't seen that in a while again. But it's kind of indicated in the prices right here, $16.65. Great price, folks. I think you should buy it. Take advantage of these criminals' behavior right here. Stick it up their asses. Buy the real stuff. Stick them with the paper. And where are we right let's take a look. Here's the green. Look at when this activity occurs right here. Yesterday was kind of flat line with the price of gold, but take a look at this. Where does it occur? In the New York Crimex markets. But Crimex and CME Group's Comex commodity, it's a 23-hour market now. Take a look at that. That is Crimex too, but we call it the Globex markets. That's the 24-hour markets in gold and silver. And if you take a look at the New York Globex markets just open. It's down in the New York Globex markets, again, the Crimex markets. And that's to be expected. And again, NYMEX markets, take a look at getting hammered pretty badly, gold is. And where gold goes, I've been saying silver will follow. Take a look at this chart, same thing. Folks, there's no reason gold and silver should be down. Based on the economy, based on the the rarity of gold and silver versus the rarity of fiat turd dollars. And there's no good reason for gold and silver to be down other than pure bullshit manipulation in these markets. And I talk about this, I'm just so sick of it. I'm so sick of it. But I think it's really important that guys like myself, guys like Ted Butler, organizations like gata.org that talk about the manipulation in the gold market, I think it's important that sometimes we get probably, I'm sure I can speak for myself and not for them, but I get sick of talking about this manipulation. I get sick of saying it's the same old shit every day. I talked about that was the meme for yesterday, or the theme of yesterday, same old shit, different day. It's just, I get so tired of talking about it, but you know what? It's important that we keep it up there, we keep it in their faces, and that people understand that this fucking market is rigged. The silver market, the gold markets are rigged. But don't get disappointed. It's rigged to your advantage because it's rigged to where you're not buying a derivative when you're buying gold and silver. Folks listening to my show, is you guys aren't paper people. You're not buying derivatives. You're not buying SLV. You're not buying paper stuff. We're all physical people. So this works to our advantage as physical buyers. It gives us the ability to stack gold and silver at ridiculous, again, if you could store filet mignon, which I don't think you can, but if you could store gasoline for long periods of time, and you could store gasoline at $1 a gallon, $2 a gallon, you'd probably do it if it was easy and convenient to do. But it's not. But gold and silver, easy to store, man. It doesn't take up much space. You can put $1 million worth of gold in a 2-slice toaster, quite literally, and maybe even more than $1 million worth of gold in a 2-slice toaster right now. And I've done the math. I've actually stuck gold in my toaster before. As an experiment. Trust me, folks, I don't hide my gold there. Yeah, let's not get the word out that I hide my gold in the toaster. But one time, just for a photograph, I put a bunch of kilo gold bars next to a 2-slice toaster, and it didn't even, you could fit over $1 million worth of gold in a 2-slice toaster. I kid you not, okay? Plastic piece of shit Walmart toaster. But take a look at this. You folks, this is a great opportunity. Shit's going to hit the fan at some point. It looks like in the stock market it is. At some point, the dollar is just going to take a huge reversal and take a giant shit itself. No fiat currency survives for long. And the buying power of fiat currency, the buying power of the U.S. dollar, historically, factually, just a downhill trend. And again, I can show you that graph, but if you haven't watched my videos 100 times already, you've seen the graph 100 times. What's going on in the futures markets? It looks like are they even open right now? I believe they are. I think they are. Yeah, 9:15. Wow, looks like we're going to be in the red tomorrow. If not, maybe just barely in the green, slightly under the red. But these markets are hemorrhaging right here, folks. And remember, it's kind of funny. I've been noticing the last 2 months, when the Dow, S&P, and the NASDAQ have been in the red, so has been gold. And where gold goes, silver will ultimately follow, even though I don't think gold and silver really have much to do about anything really, other than pure bullshit manipulation in the derivatives and paper markets. And I'm going to get to Ted Butler's article here in a moment. I want to read that to you. Folks, you got the opportunity to buy precious metals, and as I've been saying, filet mignon at $2 and $3 a pound, gasoline at $1 a gallon. I fudged those. I've moved those numbers around the last week or two, but it's just to make a point. You're getting a real product, and unlike steak, gold and silver doesn't go bad. It'll stay good it's been good for 5,000 years. It's going to continue to be good, and it's considered real money, especially in the new competition the U.S. dollar has with the Chinese and the Russians and the Indians and other countries, the BRIC countries that are going to de-dollarize. But again, whole different subject. I've talked about that so many times. I'm just sick of talking about the same old shit all the time. I'm sorry. I'm getting a little burned out by this as well. I'm sure you are. But I don't want you to, again, gift horse in the mouth. These are gift prices. If you're bought in now, you're bought in at higher prices. In my opinion, it's a little tough to look at these low prices because you're thinking, I could have bought lower. And why the hell isn't it much higher than it is right now? But you watch my reports for years now. You know the freaking game is rigged, and you can't win if you don't play. And if you're going to play any market, if you're going to have any type of wealth preservation, where are you going to put your freaking money? You're going to put it in U.S. dollars? No. You're going to put it in the stock market where they're just going to manipulate that shit down and take away most of your wealth? No. Are you going to stick it in real estate where they're going to hit you with taxes and insurance and all that other shit where they make sure that they got their hand in your pocket? No. Well, I mean, real estate's done pretty well, but it doesn't look like. What is real money out there? Besides U.S. dollars and other fiat currency, what is real money? It's gold, silver, and platinum, folks. It's all about wealth preservation. And this is why I hammer this home on a daily basis. Let me read what Ted Butler has to say in this report. And I thought, again, this is not where he talks about the last week, and I should have mentioned this last week. I should have paid more attention. For some reason, when I read that, I said, oh, it looks like they're going to slam gold prices this week. And that was from his report last week, talking about, again, the big short positions that these companies put in the, gold shorts and the big commercial gold shorts. And again, they really went big in gold about a week or two ago, and Ted Butler discussed that. freaking flew right over my head, folks. Because I have a bunch of gold here that I needed to sell. I'm in business doing this, so my working capital gets caught up in this. So I got caught up in this down in gold as well, which proves to you that no matter how many years you've been doing this, you can just not underestimate the chicanery and the crookedness of these big commercial banks, and you can't tell exactly what they're going to do. Well, that's not true. Mr. Butler did tell me last week that there were huge shorts in gold. I should have sold. I should have mentioned it to you folks. My apology. But meanwhile, let me read what he just reported recently. Just said, Ted says, since the report lists holding by dollar amount, the first thing one must do is monitor the closing prices for gold and silver over the quarter and adjust positions accordingly. In this case, since gold fell $142, woohoo, wow, as I said earlier, 7.3%, and silver prices fell $4.75%, almost 18.9%, folks, from March 31st to June 30th. The holdings of the banks were there no change in holdings should have been down by those amounts. As it turned out, there was a massive decrease in the holding of JPMorgan of some 80 billion, from more than 330 billion to less than 240 billion, or 25%. So Mr. Butler believes and concludes that JPMorgan has continued its exit from the over-the-counter derivatives, having also retreated from COMEX dealings, and is content to sit with physical gold and silver holdings. All right. So JPMorgan, one of the largest crooks out there, criminal entities when it comes to manipulating the price of gold, silver, platinum, and other markets, is got itself out of. And remember, JPMorgan is the one that loaned Bank of America all that physical silver, and Bank of America still owes that physical silver back to JPMorgan. So think about that as well. JPMorgan is, you got to remember that their people, future, past, and present, have worked for the Treasury Department. So that company is that's corporate cronyism to the maximum nth degree with JPMorgan. And the fact that they're gotten out of all these derivatives, and the fact that the big picture, again, I'm not really good with with the numbers and the technical picture on the small scale, but on the big picture, when JPMorgan continues to exit from the over-the-counter derivatives markets in gold, silver, and they've retreated from COMEX dealings, maybe because they had to, they're in trouble, but they're sitting content with physical gold and silver, as we are. What does that tell you? Who's on our side right now? That's kind of scary if you think about it. Well, I guess at this point, the enemy of Bank of America would be JPMorgan, who suckered them into that big silver bet that they made and that they still owe. And JP is out of the derivatives market, out of the COMEX markets. They have left the other big commercials and the managed monies in those markets, and they're sitting here with the real stuff. What does that tell you, folks? The fact that JPMorgan, one of the biggest crooks out there, is sitting with a huge amount of gold and silver, and silver that they loaned out to Bank of America as well, which I talked about yesterday in the BOA. Is the BOA going to take a big shit from a short position that they never filled? And maybe that's why these prices are sub 20. Bank of America, in order not to default on that position, or that money that they owe, or that silver position they owe, is working these markets down using SLV, using the shorting system through commercial. But anyways, I'm getting confused now. And if you start thinking about this stuff, your fucking head starts to spin. And it's been a long day. And I'm going to move along to, you heard me there, a little relaxation. It's almost over. But the three other listed banks, as Mr. Butler points out, featured an increase in holdings despite the decline in gold and silver prices, with Citibank up nearly $6 billion to $120 billion, with Goldman Sachs up by $12.5 billion, 200% to $18.6 billion, and both up to nearly $10 billion, 25% to $39.1 billion. And Mr. Butler says, remember, these are real increases. Since the lower prices on June 30, it should have resulted in a reduction of holdings in ounce terms. All things being equal, bottom line is that JPM is reducing. The others are increasing their over-the-counter derivatives. Ask yourself, who's the smarter trader out here? JPMorgan, again, who's in bed with the government and has been for a long time, or Goldman Sachs. Well, Goldman too has had some. They're in bed there a little bit too. So is BOFA. But who do you think is the smarter player here, JPM or BOFA, Goldman Sachs, and Citibank? I don't know. I think JP's sitting with a lot of physical out there, which is a good sign, folks, that we probably want to do the same thing, and that's what we do anyway. All right, as far as news out there, I'm going to make my comments here. You know what? I haven't talked about news for a while. Let me take a sip here. And I'm a political kind of guy, and I'm just so... For a while, I've been avoiding it. I've been avoiding going over to ZH and some of the articles here just because it's so freaking crazy. But I'm going to make my comments here in some form or fashion. Cheers to all you folks. My first sip of red wine of the night. That's not bad, too. Merlot. Cheap Merlot. Florida Governor DeSantis sends 2 plane loans of illegal... I started to read it, but I probably shouldn't read this. Man, this is why everybody likes this guy. And you can't argue with that. Outside of this woman's house, too, the governor of Texas dropped a bunch of folks outside her house. This is just getting, you know, you couldn't make this shit up. I mean, look at this. You couldn't make this shit up. You just couldn't do it. Think about this like 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30. You couldn't make this kind of crap up. And it's true, folks. It's just freaking true. U.S. denies plan to, okay, there you go. First they said Biden was going to buy oil at 80. Now they're saying he's not going to buy oil at 80. Again, same old shit, different day, same old lie, same old, we said that, we didn't say that when they actually did say that. I'm going to just kind of go down here. What does all this stuff have? You know, the moment I start reading good news every day, folks, when I don't go over ZH and I don't go over other, of course, in my opinion, the reason I read ZH is because I believe that there's a lot of articles out here that kind of state the truth of what's really going on. When it comes to corporate news and corporate entity-owned news and media stations, I don't trust them. I don't trust them. They blow smoke up your ass. They lie. They give you their own version of what the truth is, which is usually the corporate government narrative. And that's the reason I kind of look at ZH. But you'll find that you'll find I'm right. Well, let's see. Sage Center, massive global rice shortage. That's kind of interesting as well. We're seeing the price of food go dramatically. Rice is one of those main staples out there that feeds a lot of starving people. This is not good when we're seeing a rice shortage out there, folks, because that's what the po folks eat all over the world. I actually love rice myself, but it's not going to hurt me. It's the people. You know, if you've gone to Costco and you've gone over to any of these big grocery stores, you know, you can buy a big bag of rice. That'll feed a lot of people for a long time. In a lot of countries, it does. It feeds a lot of people. And the fact that there's going to be a shortage, it's going to be tougher to get, you know, that's not helpful for the poor. And again, what does it have to do with the price of gold and silver? Well, when the poor start getting hungry and the poor start doing things that they wouldn't normally do because they are hungry, that's just bad for the economy. That's just bad for everybody out there. And it can't be good for the propping up the U.S. dollar in any way, shape, or form. Again, all this bad stuff, folks, it just adds up to a declining dollar, a declining empire, and reasons that you need to have some form of wealth preservation. You know, other than gold and silver, I wish I could tell you what that might be, but it's definitely, in my opinion, not equities markets. It's not fiat currencies. And I even worry, again, like I said, about land, because there's one thing I know about land is, yeah, it'll go, you know, when you're doing well and the prices are going up and everything, but all it takes is an entity like the Fed just to raise rates and cause your real estate to be worth shit. It's manipulated, folks. Even the real estate market's the same thing with interest rates. Look how they raise interest rates. It's going to kill the real estate market. Your price of your house is going to go down dramatically. So what do you own that keeps up with value that you can and actually is portable and has been around for 5,000 years and they can't be taxed and there's no insurance on it? Gold, silver, and platinum. I hope I'm making a good case here. I'm going to kind of call it quits. What is the thing that I do better than any of the other YouTube talking heads out there? I don't care who it is. What do I do very well? Well, I'm a buyer and seller of precious metals, gold, silver, and platinum, and this is where I plug myself. So if you folks that have heard me a million times, fast forward if you want, or you can end the video right now, because I'm going to tell you what the best deals out there are in gold and silver, and I'm going to tell you why that you probably should be doing business with me. And of course, that's why I do these videos, is to promote my business. I don't do it for views, and I don't do it for, I'm certainly not going to make a living being a YouTube guy. So, all right, best deals out there are still gold bars, folks. And as you know, I advertise to be APMEX, JM, and SD Bullion on any quantity, and as well as the big guys like Miles Franklin and the other big guys out there that sell large quantities. I'll beat their prices as well. When it comes to gold bars, Eagles, Krugerrands, Maple Leafs, all that stuff. But the best deal out there is gold bars. Eagles are still spot plus 155. There doesn't seem to be delay in delivery times in any gold product. Gold seems to be kind of somewhat readily available, even with the down prices and even when they weren't so much down. But that could change real quickly. Remember, we were looking at $200 plus gold Eagle premiums not too long ago, and the mint has been real tight on producing any of that stuff. But best deals for sure, gold bars. After that would be maybe Austrian Philharmonics if you can find them, and Krugerrands, Maples. But a bar is by far, you know, $74 or less in small quantities. And again, I advertise to be APMEX, SD, and JM Bullion, and the big guys, like I said, Miles Franklin and the other ones. And I'm very highly competitive. I think they're all great companies, and I hope you don't, you know, if they ever listen to this, I want them to know that I respect their companies as well. But I'm competitive, and I want their dollars more than they do. Well, maybe not, but I feel that way. So it's worth it for me to be competitive. As far as silver goes, the same thing, folks, but silver is a whole different animal. You know, I've been looking at APMEX, JM, and SD Bullion, their websites, and again, they're the 800-pound gorillas, and I advertise to beat them. Their prices are going up. The premiums are going up, and it looks like they may be involved with shortages as well in 100-ounce bars. And I was really surprised to see that the 100-ounce bars are really tight right now. The larger bars are tight. Kilos and hundreds seem to be real popular. Which tells me I really, and 1,000-ounce bars are also up in value as well. Those are the best deals still. The best way to buy silver is still 100-ounce bars at spot plus 290 or less. And what else? Kilo bars at spot plus, oh my gosh, I'm going to say $3.40 or less, $3.30 or less, and 1 ounce. But those products, especially the larger bars, are getting hard to find. I think there's someone out there buying a shit out of silver right now. You know, on the low, physical silver, even though the prices are low right now. I talked to my refiner, Metalor, who's one of the, you know, Metalor is the largest, they're the largest exporter in the state of Massachusetts, the refiner I deal with. They export some incredible amount of money but the largest export out of Massachusetts is gold. And why? Because of Metalor. Metalor is the people that do my silver. And I have an inside track there because I have an account with them. And Metalor tells me that the silver, you know, they're speeding up the times that they're melting it and refining it, probably because, you know, again, it's in big demand. I think even companies like Metalor are again, short silver. There's just not a lot of it out there, and it's not coming in. People aren't selling silver. They're buying it. So it's just a big drain on the market, and like Ted Butler says, I mean, everything's just getting set up for, you know how they talked about in that, what was it, the George Clooney movie when he was a fisherman, The Great Storm, when you got all these elements coming together. Folks, that's exactly what we got with gold, silver, and platinum. And again, you know, if you've already bought in at the, you know, higher prices and much higher prices, relax. You'll have your day. And who the hell knew that they could, you know, well, again, we're learning. I'm learning. And I'm learning that sometimes it's right in front of your face. But anyways, great opportunity to buy silver and especially gold right now, in my opinion. The platinum still very unloved, but holding on to that $900 level. And like I said, if you're looking to buy gold, silver, platinum, keep us in mind at, well, I'll tell you in a minute here. Meanwhile, thanks for watching yesterday's video. Bank of America set up for a huge squeeze. We kind of talked about that in this video here a little bit earlier, that BOA still owes a huge amount of silver out there. And maybe that's what all these shenanigans with the price of silver being dropped below $20 was to help Bank of America prevent from being bankrupted by a huge short silver position physical position that they owe JPM. Hey, listen, shit all ties in together, man. BOA set up for a huge squeeze. I think it's very possible, but again, they're too big to fail, folks. Too big to jail, too big to fail. And maybe that's why we're seeing this sub $20 silver, is to help Bank of America fill that position that they're not able to fill right now. The same thing with SLV. Daniel, thank you, Strongman. 1,000 silver. Why would anyone buy silver and gold before the next rate hike? I noticed I replied earlier, 1,000 silver, and I could be wrong on this. But $12 silver, 50, I think it's highly unlikely. Although the move down today from yesterday after you made your comment from 1,700 to this 1,660 level really just kind of made me say, wow. I mean, there's no end to how far they will go. And like I said, the gold and silver markets should be double what they are right now. There's no end to how far they're going, how low and crooked they'll get to drive these markets down. But 15, I would be amazed, $1,000 silver, if it got to 15. And $12 silver, no, I just don't see it. I think we're near our lows, although we're going to see some dips into some lower markets. But tough to say, tough to say. And, there's another thing I haven't spoken about, which could be kind of, a little bit conspiratorial. But remember, gold and silver, particularly gold, Russia, China, and the BRICS countries are going to use probably some basket of currencies along with gold as security in their new form, in the new dollar world that they're creating for themselves by de-dollarization. And this could be a war on gold by the Fed as well. I believe that the Fed, they have, they want to drive the stock market down. They want to reduce inflation, whatever freaking stupid way they can. And they manipulate these markets around. GATA.org talks about how gold's manipulated around. This could be, and with the war that we got going on against Russia and the potential war we got going on with China, and the fact that they heavily rely on gold and buy and sell a lot of gold, maybe the U.S. dollar is knocking maybe the Fed is knocking the price of gold as well, surreptitiously somehow. But that, again, I'm getting into conspiracy theories, but you know what? Almost every conspiracy theory I've had for the last 5 years has turned out to be right. So take that for what it is. I could be wrong on this one. Spot price means nothing until you pay a big percentage. Yeah, that's true. In 2008, when the entire gold, stock market collapsed during the Lehman collapse, silver dropped dramatically, but the premiums were just stupid, and delivery times they were talking 3 months, 4 months out for delivery times. Living the dream. I was slurring last night. Yeah, it probably was, man. There's a combination of having a glass of wine and being really tired, man. I've been working a lot and a lot of stuff going on. You know what I mean? Just like all you other folks out there that have a lot of stuff going on you don't talk to other people about. I got the same thing. Lots of stuff going on with friends and family and all that stuff. Then on top of business, all right, I'm getting a little too personal with you. Thanks for the comment. A little too personal. Living the tree. There's a slur for you. And by the way, I will have a sip of wine here. It is the evening report. Okay. Over a year ago, I swear I heard inside most government entities and central banks buy at 1,700 basically are backstoppers that take all the gold for less than that. Well, they must be buying it up right now, Cloud Layer Mark. And thanks for commenting. Nice to see you comment out there. Thanks for being a watcher and subscriber as well. And by the way, folks, if you haven't already hit that like and subscribe button, it's up here, man. It's right here. Hit that like button right there. The share button's not too bad, but I don't have a subscribe button because I'm on my own page right here, but hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate it. It kind of shows me who's watching out there. Jimmy Tan, what's up? Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate you watching. And I appreciate, I am a certain flavor, and you have to like my flavor. And if you don't like my flavor, you watch someone else's flavor. So I appreciate all you folks that share the same flavor as I do. Thanks for watching, Jimmy. Steven says, why does the bid-ask fluctuate? Well, it depends on who you're watching. If you're looking at, one of the things I mentioned last week is JM Bullion, SD Bullion, and APMEX Bullion uses different spot prices. They use a higher spot price, folks. And I think they hedge themselves by doing that somewhat. And it makes it a little harder to figure out what their real premiums are because they do hedge their spot prices. But no less, I use the real spot price here. I don't hedge my spot price by 10 or 15 or 20 cents. We use a couple different methods. We have a paid subscription site that we use. And anyways, yeah, that's probably it. I've gone into it a couple times before, but you know, bid will be if you're selling to a dealer, that's what you're going to get for it, Stephen. And ask if you're buying from us, that's what you're going to pay. So the bid prices when you're selling to us, and the same thing when I buy and sell from the other big distributors out there. They use the gold bid price and they use the gold ask price to sell to me. Free America, no more oppression says. Ooh, excuse me there. Can't argue with that, sir. Xi Jinping says, you talk so bad about dollar, you love taking it for gold and silver. All you care about is getting your hands on that dollar. I commented down here, Xi, and nice to see you comment there. And Thousand Silver said it exactly right. That's a good point. But Brian and other gold and silver dealers use their earned fiat dollars to buy gold and silver. Folks, I am not just the owner of the Hair Club for Men. I'm a subscriber. I'm not just the owner of a gold and silver precious metals business. I'm also a user myself. I own a lot of gold and silver, and I do turn my fiat dollars into gold and silver. I absolutely walk the walk and talk the talk. Thanks for commenting, G, and thanks Thousand Silver. I appreciate that. That is true. And I did comment, yep, so I can turn it back into underpriced silver and gold. The dollar is a fiat turd. Who holds fiat turds for any length of time? Not smart people. Linda, love you too. Welco, be well. Animus Ondi, the cool thing about silver markets, average can go out and buy now. Yeah, absolutely true. Of real silver, not some paper piece of shit that says you own something in a company that you don't own at all. Or all right, you got my point. Silverliner says, Brian, if the Fed gives us 1%, where do you think prices will land? You know, my opinion is that raising interest rates are going to be meaningless until they actually equal real rates, not the bullshit real rates they claim. But if you use a realistic inflation index chart of some sort and you compare it to the rates, we are still a shit ton distance from even getting to the point where they're going to be being able to pay rates above the inflation rates or even close to it. So meanwhile, that's just the narrative bullshit tale. So, like dollar strength, when people say, oh, the dollar's up, that means I can buy more. That means my dollar's worth more and I'm better off. No, it doesn't. It just means the dollar's worth more than the other fucking turds out there. All right, my F word for the night. Here, I'm even going to drink to that one. Keep draining, Clayton. Rob F., there you go. Constitutionalist, patriot kind of guy like myself. Wait till the Fed raises rates for the low. And a tale of $2, what a joke. Hey, listen, folks, this is Brian Kuzmar. As I always say, think for yourself, question authority. And first off, question what you believe to be the truth. Sometimes, you know, the narrative that you live and the opinion that you have may not be the truth, man. You first research and spend time understanding what you believe to be the truth, and then it makes it much easier for you to think for yourself and question authority. Hey, thanks for watching. If you're if you're anywhere in the continental United States and you're going to buy more than 100 ounces of gold, more than 2,500 ounces of silver, I'm your man to talk to. I can make that deal happen through safe and secure means, using wires and other methods, old school methods of doing business. Including great advice I can give you as well. And again, like I said, I'll beat all the big guys out there in gold and silver and platinum sales. So definitely give me a call at conciergebullion.com, and our phone number's down here as well. And again, this is for 2,500 ounces of silver, 100 ounces of gold or more. If you live in, there I'm slurring now. If you live in South Florida, where is the commercial rare coin site? Oh my gosh, I don't have it up here. Let's see. Commercial. There we go, CRC. If you live in South Florida, here's my brick and mortar store. There's a picture of our little cute place in Lauderdale by the Sea. We're open 10 to 4 Mondays through Fridays. Been in the same location since 1995. And again, I'm a second generation dealer. Been doing this since 1977. So if you're looking to buy even the smallest amount of gold to the largest amount of gold and silver, come and see us here at Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals. Again, brick and mortar, old school method of dealing, and we deal a lot of physical. And like I said, I'll beat AtMax, JM, and SD Bullion, and all the other big dealers out there. So definitely call me, give me a try, folks. I'm the guy to see. Boy, pat myself on the back much. Hey, thanks for watching. Have a wonderful evening. Hug the people that are close to you, and don't take anything for granted. Every day's a gift. Bye now.